Welcome to our Teens Talk Show, an 8-episode series. My name is Gloria.
And my name is Shilamite.
And we are so happy to have this opportunity to discuss topics that we are passionate about. For example,
vaping, mental health, and education. We also want to welcome Connor Phillips, an award-winning TV radio presenter and live event host who is the co-host for BBC Children in Need. We want to say also a big thank you to BBC Children in Need for funding our project.
Today we'll be kicking off with our first topic,
12 going on 20.
Are children growing up too fast? We'd like to introduce our panelists. So we've got Naomi, we've got Temi,
we've got Benita, and we have Marvelous.
We also want to welcome our audience. Are you guys excited? That's so great. So just to make sure that we're on the same page, Shilamite, what do we mean by growing up too fast?
It probably mean like engaging in adult activities before reaching physical, emotional, and mental maturity.
Cool.
Yeah.
So the first question is, do you guys think children are growing up too fast?
And if so, why?
I would like to speak on this. I think children are growing up too fast due to lack of parental guidance, where the parents will not speak to their kids about their wrongdoings. So then their children end up being exposed to drugs, alcohol, and things that are very bad for them. And it could change if the parents would just sit their children down and speak to them about how they could change and their attitude towards everything.
Cool. Anybody else?
Children have got access to social media like TikTok, Instagram, all that, and then Netflix as well. I think what they watch online can influence them and then it'll make them think, because they'll see certain things like, for example, Top Boy. I've watched it and I know a lot of other people have watched it, and then they'll think, oh, that's like cool, that's like the life that you want to live, even though the people in that are like 20, 21. Some of them are kids, but they'll see that and they'll think, that's cool and I want to do that too. So they'll start like partaking in things like drugs and then like gang life, even if there's like, I don't really know what gang things are like, but even if there's like nothing to like, yeah.
So the second question is, what are the benefits or negatives of growing up too fast? But we're going to focus on the negatives first before looking into positives. So if anyone wants to answer that question.
One of the negatives, I think, is like kids like comparing themselves to like adults, and like they feel like they have to look a certain way to like try fit in. So
yeah. Anything else? What are like negatives of children growing up too fast?
Going off what Tim said, kids comparing themselves, like they don't really know what they should look like, but they just see adults and then think it's normal for them to look this way. And then when they think that way, they don't look like at their peers anymore. They don't feel among their peers anymore. And it like builds like a hard way of like forming relationship with friends and all, and they don't feel among anybody anymore. Yeah.
Can I also say, I think it would affect them mentally, because if they don't have that childhood, say they're doing things that, I don't know, for example, like some kids always watching their younger siblings, or they're taking the role of an adult in a home. They grow up and they feel they've missed out on their childhood. So they'll try and make up for that, even though they're in like their 30s, 40s, and that might leave them like mentally scarred, or they'll like try partake in other things that maybe may be like frowned on by like the public. I've seen some weird things of like, you know, adults dressing up as like little babies wearing their diapers and stuff like that. And I think that could be like effect from that.
What about positives? I'd like to throw this actually to the audience. Actually, I'll just do like a wee poll. So do you think there are more negatives or more positives to like growing up too fast? If you think there are more positives, raise your hand. Okay, got a couple of people. And why would you say that?
I feel like a positive could technically be you mature a lot quicker and you're able to deal with situations that you probably would not have been able to like mentally deal with. Like, for an example, in schools, there's like so many different situations that are going on, so many different like even relationships, friends or stuff like that. And growing up quicker kind of helps you to deal with those situations.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. And also, I'm assuming everyone else thinks that there are more negatives. Does anyone have a reason they want to contribute why there are more negatives to positives that maybe the panelists didn't mention?
When you're older, you'll now like look back on your childhood and be like, oh my gosh, I didn't do that. Maybe that's because I was trying to grow up like too fast and stuff. I missed out on what I really should have done as a child and should have appreciated.
Yeah. Fair enough, yeah.
That's a really good point, actually, because whenever we were younger, we always wanted to like know what it feels like to grow up and finally like experience what our parents experienced. But now, like looking back at it, some teenagers like of our age can look back at their childhood and be like, oh, I want to go back to like the ages where I was a child because they're dealing with so much like depression and just like mental issues with themselves, especially at this age. So I feel like people took their childhood for granted because they wanted to know what it was like growing up really fast, and I think that's also a really big problem.
That's a good point. I didn't even think of that, to be fair.
Yeah.
What do you think encourages and influences the desire for young people to grow up? So I think some of you guys touched on like social media and stuff. What other things do you think influence? And obviously, yeah, you said about we see our parents and we automatically think, oh, like I want to do what they're doing. What else do you think?
I think peer pressure. Because I remember when I was younger, like I always wanted to have like Instagram and TikTok, like because all my friends had it. But then like I never really understood why my mom didn't let me. But like now having the apps now, I'm like, oh, I understand, because it's like the things on like social media is like kids should not be having access to this. Like, and like I researched and it's like you can have like TikTok, Snapchat, and Instagram whenever like 12 plus, and I think it's only like Twitter that's like 17 plus, and I feel like those age like should be higher because it's like the content on those apps. It's like the kids should not be seeing that.
Yeah, I agree. I got Instagram and Snapchat when I was 16, and then I downloaded TikTok when I was 18. I literally had it for a month and I deleted it. I was like, I can't be bothered. But even just thinking like, there are times where I frequently, I think you guys know, I frequently go on Snapchat detoxes because I'm like, I can't be bothered with all the notifications. So like, I am definitely grateful for my parents for like pushing it and making sure that I wouldn't have those apps until I was older. Were you saying something, Nita?
Yeah, basically what Tammy was saying, peer pressure, and also the friends you surround yourself with is a big impact on you growing up very, very quick. But some people may not see that, but it does.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like the people that you surround yourself with, they obviously have an impact on how you are as a person. And you were talking about media. What about like TV programs and like you touched on Netflix, didn't you?
And Netflix and also Instagram and things like that, or watching your favorite YouTubers or like watching their vlogs. Like I used to watch like lifestyle YouTubers a lot when I was younger, like Alicia Marie and things like that. And I guess you could say those were more of positive influences, but the way they've gone, because I recently went back to look at what they're doing now, but they've kind of like given up. Well, not like given up, but they've like, she put out this thing one day and she's like, I felt like I was under a lot of pressure being like good role models to all these kids because they would come see me in public and then their moms would be like, thank you for being such like this positive influence on my kids. So, but even at that, I think most of the things on like the media, it's things like OnlyFans people and then like the Kardashians. I feel like those things are being really, really pushed. So kids are seeing that more instead of like, I don't know, wholesome things. Yeah.
And would you say that's an issue at home or like parents don't have control over that?
I think it's like it's kind of both. Like parents do have control over that, but then it's also the kid because parents can put things in place, but obviously they could go around it, or they'll have their friends as well. They could go to their friend's house and they'll be like, oh, let's all watch this together. So, yeah.
Kind of like a mixture of both, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit of both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also think parents nowadays, they're being more best friends to their kids instead of like actually being parents, because like you can tell your child not to like have the app and like shoot like they might not get the app, or I feel like parents in general are like letting their kids like do whatever they want, like because they don't care anymore.
We've got Connor in our audience here and we want to ask you, so you are a TV presenter, and what are your opinions on entertainment that's deemed as children entertainment? Do you think that the media, they partly are responsible for children growing up too fast? What are your opinions on that?
Well, the media has a huge responsibility in what it puts out and what it puts out to and what age groups it puts it out to. We're very lucky, specifically in television and radio as well. We are we have a body called Ofcom, which is over all the rules and regulations.
Okay.
So if we are putting something out for young people, it has to be appropriate. It has to be mainly positive, I would say. Specifically, see drama. You see stuff that you'd watch and everything from CBeebies to CITV when it was there, CBBC. And you will notice that it is very specifically for a particular age group. The media has a huge part to play in how young people absorb the community around them. Like you mentioned earlier on, you mentioned Top Boy.
Yeah.
There's no coincidence that that's an 18 plus on Netflix. 15 plus maybe?
15,
On,
it's
15 plus on Netflix. There's a reason that's 15 plus. It's an amazing piece of drama, but there's certain stuff in it that the media knows that young people could not absorb properly without potentially ending up in harsh situations like you mentioned earlier on. As you get a little bit older, you will notice that television is catered for your age. So to answer your question, I'm very happy that we have a body like Ofcom that looks at us to see what TV programs are putting out, what radio programs are putting out, what age groups they're focused at. And it is one of the reasons that when I suppose all four of you mentioned up there, you all mentioned online. You all mentioned Instagram, Snapchat. You all mentioned TikTok. I suppose you can take YouTube on that as well.
Yeah.
Some of them have really tight rules, but as you've probably all seen, that those tight rules, there's ways in which you can circumnavigate that. And like you mentioned earlier on, that it ends up being this weird place sometimes, thinking, how is this getting up there? Because there are millions and millions of people posting videos every day. Whereas you're making television, you've got one product, and that one product is being looked at by a scriptwriter or producer or editor. There's often 3 or 4 layers before it goes out. So you make some really good points there. And media, television, radio, and now online has a huge responsibility for what young people see. And it's a very difficult place. And you've all mentioned it in one way, shape or form.
Thank you very much, Connor.
Does anyone else have anything to add to that?
I wanted to ask you a question. Do you think that our education system and some of the content of our curriculum has any impact on children growing up too fast? Just wanted to hear your thoughts on that.
I'm in my last year. I'm in A-level, do my A-levels, trying to get into university. So I think comparing my primary school experience to younger siblings or friends that I know who are younger than me, I do definitely see a difference. The content that is being pushed by teachers kind of is changing towards where culture and society, what they believe and what's kind of trending or what's now being acceptable in our society, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I get what you mean, because I was talking to somebody about it, I think last week or the week before, about the certain things that they're teaching children, like sex education, things like that. And we were trying to figure out what is like an appropriate age to teach children about that. And then also pushing in other things. I don't know if that's controversial, but you know, like identities and things like that. I think the identity thing as a whole are the thing that children, shouldn't be taught to about, because they're still developing. But then there's also like, we never settled on like the appropriate time to teach children about sex education. Like, I don't know when I was taught, maybe 3rd year. I know during biology, that's when we was kind of talked into, but then we didn't really do anything about that. And then 1st year, we had like a day about periods. So I also had that in like P7.
Yeah.
But we were thinking it's probably more of a thing for like a parent thing to do, but some parents aren't comfortable and they'll leave it to the school. And then some kids never find out. So they'll go on the internet to go find out by themselves. And then that could like open up this whole other world of like, you know, things they shouldn't see. Yeah.
I think it's quite interesting looking at sex education because obviously in 1st year we learned, like we're looking at cells, so we looked at certain organs. But I never really had sex education until I was 17. And some people may think that's crazy, but just because of COVID and I moved schools, that's just when I had it compared to, I don't know, maybe younger sisters or people I know who maybe had it in 1st year. It's quite interesting. I feel like there's no like set age. It kind of just like depends on like what the school wants to do. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. What do you think?
I think it should be taught from like 3rd year up.
Yeah.
Because 1st and 2nd year, they're only coming into the school and they're still a little bit young. So being exposed to stuff like that is not really ideal for that age.
You're talking about, are we growing up too fast? If I could go from left to right, can I ask you what age you are, but what age you feel? So what age society makes you feel? What age do you project, if that makes sense?
Well, I'm 17. I guess I feel 16. I don't know. I don't feel any older. I feel like my age, either 16, 17, yeah.
I'm 17, but I feel like a child. Like I can't, like, me thinking I'm 18 next year is like ridiculous to me. I feel like I'm like 14 or 15. Like I don't want to grow up. I just want to remain where I am.
I'm 18, and I feel like I've got two sides to me. I can be very mature and very, very serious, where I would say I could even potentially act a bit older than 18 just because there are certain things that I take serious and I want things to be done in a particular way. But I'm also one of the most silliest people you ever meet. So I say all the time, like, I feel like a 4-year-old because I can say and do some weird things that I feel like a child would do. So as much as I'm 18, I really don't feel 18. Like, I still feel 12, to be completely honest, the way that my brain thinks. Yeah.
I'm 17, like Gloria was saying. I can be mature about some things, but most of the time, like, I'm crazy. Literally, downstairs before we were doing all this, I was just like cracking jokes with all my friends, saying the most random things. But like, honestly, I feel like I would be, I don't know, like I'm 17 right now, but like sometimes I can act like my sister's age or younger, or I can act like, you know, like Gloria was saying, like way more mature in like different situations. So yeah.
I'm 17, but at home I'm a toddler. Like, I'm a mommy's girl. Like, I love being like a little child. But outside, some people may like think that I'm a little bit older because of the way I dress and like the way I do my makeup, but I'm still a child.
I'm 16 and sometimes I feel like an adult because like I'm the firstborn child. I've got like a younger brother as well. And sometimes I'm a child because everywhere I go, I'm like the youngest. Yeah.
That's an interesting question, actually.
And I think your answers were, and I know there's some parents in the room, your answers were quite encouraging because I think we, as a parent, you get really scared about your child growing up too fast, but it's actually really lovely to hear. Actually feeling like you want to be back home with mommy and daddy. It's something really nice about that. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's lockdown. I don't know.
I agree. I feel like because lockdown took so much from us. I mean, when I went into lockdown, I was 14.
Yeah.
Coming out of lockdown properly, I just turned 16. And I mean, between those years is GCSE year.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
honestly, I feel like I should be 15 because I missed so much because of COVID.
Over. I need a redo because that's crazy.
Like,
Even after COVID, like everything is like
It was happening. It was fast.
like next week is gone as well. Like, it's like flying.
Yeah.
Yeah, time flies by. So, yeah, COVID had a massive impact. That's true. That's true.
even for me going into like 6th year was crazy because you're like, you missed a good like 2 years of school. You're already in 6th year.
Like,
You're feeling your UCAS, ready to go to uni. Like, it's so scary. It's so scary, but yeah. The last question is, what can be done about children growing up too fast?
I was gonna say, so you see for like the age stuff on social media, there should be like a way you can verify your age. Actually verify your age to prove that you're like the certain age to sign up for that social media platform. Because, and even about the verifying of your age, there's still a way that people can go about it. So I don't really know if stuff can be done about that at all or not. Yeah.
Like, for example, you can do like
ID.
birth certificate.
Or photo ID.
Yeah.
Edit
But like
your
an
photo
actual,
ID.
like, yeah, like I feel like you can edit your birth. Well, you can. You can edit everything.
You really
but,
can.
But like your birth certificate to show that you're
At the
that
appropriate age, yeah.
And I feel like the age, like for you to get an app, like should be increased. Like it should be like
Like on the, I don't know if they changed
16.
it, But on Netflix, to watch like certain maturity ratings, you have to put in a password. I know we used to have it, but
But that's set up by your parents because
Parents
we have that
control.
at home.
Yeah, that's true.
So
But that's imagine I took you're all roughly 17, 16, and 17. So I'm saying so with that in mind. So imagine I said to all of you, you lose all your social media privileges now until you're 18. How would you feel? Every single one gone until you were 18.
I feel like in this generation, like we met, like that's how we communicate, like through like Snapchat. Like you don't use WhatsApp. No one uses WhatsApp. It's just that and the group chats, yeah. But that's the way we communicate. So like you're gonna take away the way we talk to our friends. I don't think it will work.
obviously I'm 18, but I think that's really best. I mean, I remember before I had like Snapchat and stuff, like all you guys had Snapchat and I didn't. And honestly, I felt left out because I was like, sometimes I would text people and they wouldn't respond to me back because they're always on Snapchat and Instagram, things like that. But honestly, if they said that social media was just for 18 plus, I think it would make life great. I think children have a way better time of growing up. Whenever we're in social settings, nobody would be on their phones scrolling on Instagram. We could actually have real life conversations. I think it would benefit us as a society, to be honest. That's just my opinion anyways.
It could also help children have like better relationships with their parents too, because social media is such a big platform and children at young ages can, have access to it. It may ruin their relationship with parents because they may spend their time on their phones or like laptops or whatever, and then if their parents want them or want to talk to them, they could be on their phones, and that's a really big distraction as well. It's like whenever I'm on my phone, my mom, I can't even be on my phone and be in the same place as my mom because she'll legit like grab it off me. So like I feel like that could also like ruin the parent's relationship with the child if children are exposed to technology at a very early age.
Also adding on to what they were saying, like you're feeling left out whenever like your friends have it. Like I remember I used to feel that way when I didn't have like Instagram or like TikTok, but like when I got those apps, it's like this is overhyped. Like,
It really is.
Like it's not that deep. But yeah.
Even like with the whole TikTok thing, because I think you all have TikTok.
Yeah.
And as I said, I had it for a month and I deleted it because I was like, Instagram is. I'm really happy with Instagram.
TikTok
Instagram
is the better app, like out of all of
TikTok
them.
is better than Instagram.
You don't need to speak to anyone, you're just there scrolling.
I don't see how like people scroll on the app for like 5 hours. Like I get to like I'm just maybe it's my For You page.
really
I
No,
don't know.
me, I just be listening to the sounds. I can't lie to you. Just be dancing to
I
the
just be
beats.
like Instagram. Like I just got that recently, and it's like there's
felt
no
so
way
boring.
this is the app that everyone
everyone's
has,
talking
and I'm
about.
just like,
Fair enough. I think someone in the audience has something to say. Michael, do you have something to say?
You know what it is? I think that the biggest issue was, did you ever get after lockdown, like maybe like technology became like a big issue because there was like many improvements that have been made. So that's why I think it's also a big factor. Plus like the way school is also going, like technology implemented into it also has a big issue because like many of the topics that like might have been mentioned, like because I'm 16, so they might have been mentioned like maybe 2 years from now or something. I already mentioned it like primary school and stuff, and they're already like affecting us both physically and mentally. So that's why I think that's one of the biggest issues.
I think, I mean, during lockdown, Google Classroom, Microsoft Teams, that became our best friends. Zoom became our best friends.
What do you call that? House party?
Oh my goodness!
House party.
That was a good
that's not
thing.
I was
So
the
it's
app anymore.
It's what it used to be, and
but that
then
one
during lockdown.
that was a different story.
It was kind of scary though because anyone could join the call. It was kind of creepy.
I loved it.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely had an over dependence is that how you say it? Over dependent
Yeah.
on technology during lockdown because that's how we've been taught, and that's continued. I mean, I think I've gotten 5 notifications today alone from school, which is absolutely crazy. I mean, we're on holiday right now, but yeah. I think, did we answer your question, Shulamite, about what can be done?
No.
Sorry. Does anyone else have anything to add to what like can we prevent children from growing up too fast? Obviously, you talked about verification on certain apps. Anything else that can be done?
I think it's just need to watch what we're pushing out towards children because, I know TikTok feeds is supposed to be what, like, it brings up whatever you want to watch, but I feel like they can also push certain things. And then also on, like, Instagram and things like that. So I feel like there's certain things that they should not push. Like, you can put your age. Well, that doesn't really do anything. It doesn't really do anything. Oh, well.
What do you? Do we have some more interaction from the audience? Yeah, go for it.
What do you feel about like little children going on Omegle?
That's a question.
That's a question for another day.
It is a question for the other day. I think it is quite scary looking at the different apps that we have and the fact because there is no verification. Anyone can do whatever. I think we've got another question or contribution from the audience as well.
It's more of a contribution. Honestly, I don't think we can stop children from growing even too fast. I think the major thing is just guidance.
Yeah.
As long as children have guidance, I think they're good to go. We can't stop it. It's inevitable. That's why they have to grow. They're children.
Amen.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think some of our youth leaders have things to say as well.
Just to piggyback off what Sis Titi said there, I think when children have this mass, like they are so exposed to so much information nowadays, that having someone that they can go and ask questions to, and somebody who can explain it to them to help build a foundation and that understanding for them is very important, because there's no way to shield information anymore. I think everywhere they go, they're exposed to so much information compared to when I was growing up. The mass amount of information that they're getting and they're trying to understand it themselves is kind of terrifying in a way. And having an adult or a friend that they can confide to who is older than them and who understands more can help build that understanding and help them like kind of navigate on how to handle that information.
Yeah,
that's true.
You know, I'm sitting here, I'm a mom of 2 young children, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, like when I was growing up, we were playing Tip the Can. We didn't have social media, you know, we were playing British Bulldog and things like that. And you guys don't know what that is because you guys had social media. So I'm thinking here as a mom that, oh my goodness, I'm going to have to shield my children literally. And I'm probably going to do what my pastors have done, where I give my children social media later in life and just let them enjoy their childhood. I think that when you enjoy your childhood, you know, these are conversations you can have when you then grow up. So for example, I remember, with my friends we were playing British Bulldog or Tip the Can or hopscotch. You know, these things, it's enjoyable. But now it's like you're on social media, you're seeing what the next person is posting, and you know, your mind is like, oh, this person is living their best life. But there's 2 sides to Instagram. You know, they're doing that, but there's a reality, you know, that's happening. So I definitely think that what the girl said as well, guiding the children, and as parents, you know, we have to ensure that we do guide our children, but also as well, you know, making sure that the child knows what is right and what is wrong, so that they can also make the decisions for themselves as they grow up as well.
I think we are quite fortunate in our youth group to have youth leaders that we can confide in. I know that some of our youth leaders, I've had conversations with them, and yeah, I agree. Guidance is the way to go, and as one of our youth leaders says, it's inevitable, but with the right guidance and right support, I think we'll be all right. So I think that's it for today. We want to say a massive thank you to the audience. You guys are absolutely amazing. And a massive thank you to our panelists as well. Love your contributions. Massive thank you to Connor as well. Thank you so much. To the BBC as well, they're here recording us. So thank you guys so much. And finally, to the BBC Children in Need, who are funding our project and gave us the opportunity to do this.
Thank you. You guys can look out for other episodes on Bradbury Hub TV on YouTube, and you can follow us. You can follow us on Instagram
at Bradbury Hub. And yeah, thank you so much for tuning in.
We hope you enjoyed it.
Yes, we did. I hope to see you guys next time. Bye.